Hi folks, I hope you're really well. Very well, welcome to another little video. And if you've recently joined the channel, again thank you so much for following along. And if you're a long-suffering follower of the channel, as ever, thank you for your continued support. I started this channel a couple of years ago and put a few videos up from kind of bike rides that I thought were pretty cool myself, and really just wanted to keep a record or a little memento of some of my cycling. And I thought as I became old and decrepit, or even older and more decrepit I should say, I could kind of look back and remember some of the trips and the bike rides that I've been on. And I remember first video I posted and one or two people subscribing to the channel and thinking, that's so strange that anyone else is vaguely interested in what I'm doing. And you know, over a couple of years there's been a few more people following along, and it's so cool. And you can probably tell from videos, if you've seen a few of my videos, I'm not particularly bothered about what you wear, what bike you ride, how you ride, and any of that sort of cliquey elitist cycling etiquette. For me, cycling is getting out on two wheels and enjoying yourself, however you do that and wherever you do that. And I think a few videos back I made a little video about reasons to go cycling, and you know, I've made little videos about the reasons I think cycling is beneficial to your kind of health, your mental health, all that sort of stuff. But I haven't really talked much about motivation, so I thought in this little video, particularly as I was very unmotivated, is that the right word? Dismotivated, to get out on my bike today. I really could not be arsed. And you know, that was an hour and a half ago, and I look back at my hour and a half ago self and think, what was I thinking? It's so cool getting out on a bike. So this little video, I'm just going to share one or two things. I mean, I can think of three off the top of my head, sort of contributing factors to helping you stay motivated. And you know, I'd like to share them. And again, as I was saying, for those of you following along on the channel, it's so cool getting your own tips and suggestions and bits of advice. I really appreciate it. So as I'm waffling along in this video, and if anything springs to mind for your good selves in terms of how you maintain motivation, how you get yourself out the door, particularly in the winter months when the weather's a bit rubbish, do let me know. Oh, okay, enough rambling. Let's get into the topic of today's video. Oh. So it's mid-October in the UK, and it's dark at just past 6 o'clock now in the evening, and in about a week's time the clocks will change and it will be dark at 5, and then 4:30, and then 4 o'clock. It just gets grimmer and grimmer over the next few months. A lot of my local trails, I mean actually what I'm on at the moment is still relatively dry, but a lot of my local trails are submerged at the moment, or they're just running streams. So rider gets filthy, bike gets filthy, not a lot of daylight, it's cold, it can be quite damp. You know, there's a lot of factors that sort of chip away at your motivation for getting out. I think probably the first thing for me that you can do to kind of give yourself a little bit of impetus to keep getting on the bike is to set a little goal, to have something to look forward to or work towards. In my case, I've signed up for another Audax at the end of November, slightly longer one than I did a few weeks ago, and one of the things that got me out the door today was kind of just thinking, well, I do need to maintain a little bit of fitness for this upcoming ride. I do need to get a bit of time in the saddle still, and there's this tiny weather window, although there's rain over there on the horizon, but there's a tiny little weather window, a couple of hours where it's not raining, and you know, that was just enough to get me out the door. And just having that little goal to work towards, a ride or a race or event or whatever to prepare for, can be quite a good little bit of motivation to get you on the bike and get you started. And you know, like many other cyclists, I find once I get going, whatever the weather and the temperature and the conditions, I'm usually just loving it, to be honest. So yeah, that'll be my first little tip for maintaining your motivation. Get yourself a goal, something fixed in the calendar to work towards, look forward to give you that little bit of a kick up the backside to get out the door. Whew, right, puddles galore here. Oh god. Yuck. Yeah, and just on the topic of goals, the other thing you can do is set yourself a larger goal. So a few years ago, the year that I turned 46, I set myself the goal of 4,600 miles for the year, and just kind of breaking that down into daily mileage, having that in the back of my mind each week, really motivated me in particular to swap little car journeys for bicycle journeys, to get a few miles in, to commute by bike, all opportunities to kind of not turn down the offer of a bike ride, because I had this sort of yearly target that I was working to, and I finished on the 26th of December that year with a 50-mile bike ride, and I hit my yearly target. And it was so cool, like the whole year, kind of having that behind the scenes or in the back of my mind with my cycling. I really found that quite a motivating year in terms of just keeping active, particularly like January, February, and particularly pushing through that motivation you get at the beginning of January to, you know, New Year's resolutions and to do all these new active things, which typically last a few days or a couple of weeks. But that actually lasted the whole year. It was absolutely fantastic. So, you know, whether your goals are small, just a single event or ride that you want to work to, or something grander, you know, and 4,600 miles I appreciate is minuscule in comparison to what a lot of people do. But as I said before, it's not about how many Everests you can cycle and how far you can go. It's about just getting out and getting the motivation to get out for yourself and do what you feel is comfortable and enjoyable. So yeah, goals are definitely part, or can definitely be part of motivation in my humble opinion. Okay, second factor, consideration, coming up. Just need to get through yet another Pennine Gate. Okay, heading back now. It's just a lunchtime ride, so not doing too many miles today. I think another thing that helps with motivation, for me certainly, is if just the cycling isn't enough to get you out the door, make it about something else as well. So this could be cycling out to see a friend, it could be making sure you stop en route at a nice cafe and, you know, have that nice hot bowl of soup or piece of cake. That does wonders for the motivation. I'll just stop here actually. If you need to just pop out and buy something, you know, jump on your bike to do that. Kind of make the trip out something as well as just the cycling bit, and sometimes that can really help with just that extra little bit of motivation to get you out the door. And as I said, 99.999% of people, I think, that appreciate cycling, once they get on the bike and they get going, that's it. You know, the motivation doesn't need to be there anymore because they're on the ride and they're kind of enjoying it. So yeah, as well as setting goals, large or small, the second kind of tip or suggestion, I think, in my view, would be if you can combine the cycling with something else, and that, particularly in the cold winter months, can just add to the enjoyment of the ride and the sort of the impetus to get off your ass and get off your sofa and get out the door. Whew, right, see the windmills not spinning too much today. And behind me is Studley Pike. You probably won't be able to see that. The great sentinel of the Calder Valley. Beautiful views today. It's pretty moody. As I said, there's a little weather window. I can see a lot of rain straight ahead. Hopefully I'll avoid that on the way back. I can just see, you won't see this at all, the tops of the skyscrapers of Manchester. And a very fine midweek afternoon it is too, to be out on a bike. Okay, last factor related to motivation, in my view, coming up. Just going to have a drink and a couple of jelly babies, and then we'll get going again. Whew. Wow, folks, I really wish I was filming with a camera that I could zoom in and show you that view. That's absolutely stunning. It's like something out of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. You can see the Manchester skyline, all the skyscrapers, and then out towards the west, just these three pods of light. It's like spectacularly bright against the you know, the gazillion shades of grey and the moody sky. You've got bands of rain and this kind of weak autumn light bursting through in three parts. It's absolutely stunning, and wow, what a view. And how rubbish this is going to look on the GoPro. That's like a landscape photographer's dream. If I was up here with a telephoto lens, 1000% I'd be stopping now and snapping that like crazy. That is stunning. Absolutely stunning. Anyway, we didn't come here to talk about landscape photography, did we? Came here to talk about motivation. Now, of course, there is a school of thought, and hang on, let me swap hands. It's a bit more comfortable with my right hand on the bars. Yeah, there is a school of thought which I have a bit of sympathy for, to be honest, particularly with certain goals, that, you know, whether you're motivated or not, like, sod it, just go and do the thing. You know, and you can't hang around all the time waiting for motivation, because if you did, you wouldn't go out and do your sport or do your activity half the time. So yeah, I do have a bit of sympathy for that, but I also think that if we can, it's always nice to do things that you're motivated to do. And you know, if your livelihood doesn't depend on cycling, you know, you're not a professional athlete or anything, for me it's important that you enjoy what you're doing. And I think so many people, well, I don't know so much about cycling because I'm not really into the performance side of cycling, but certainly back when I was running, so many people are so hard on themselves trying to stick to running plans and training plans, and then getting injured and getting pissed off about it. You just want to advise them and say, you know, does it really matter that you're missing the odd training session? I don't know. So I think the last thing I'd say about motivation is, if you really can't bear over the winter months getting out and all the little tricks and ways you can contrive a ride to get you out the door still don't work, just take the winter off, man. It's absolutely fine. As I said, your livelihood, if your livelihood doesn't depend on it, you know, where's the harm? And you can pick up cycling when the weather improves the following year, and you can spend the intervening months or period of time, you know, doing something else, doing another sport if you want to stay fit, you know, read more books, spend more time with your family and your loved ones. You know, don't give yourself such a hard time to have to maintain a level of fitness throughout the winter months. It's you know, is it really needed in the grand scheme of things? The roads and the trails and the mountains and all those great routes that you want to do will still be there waiting for you in the next year. And you know, you might be starting the next year a bit unfit, but hey, that's you know, that feeds into the kind of the goals and the targets thing that we were talking about earlier, doesn't it? So yeah, I mean, I want to, particularly this year, keep cycling through the crappy months, through the winter months. I do want to try and maintain a little bit of fitness, and I suppose the real root of that for me is the kind of cycling that I want to do, like the tours and the multi-day stuff. Does require a certain level of kind of base fitness and endurance and time on the bike, and as soon as the weather starts to improve next year, I want to get back out and do some of the tours. And I've been really fortunate this year and gone away a few times and had just fantastic multi-day trips. Not the ones I'd planned to do, they didn't happen, and there's a particular tour up in Scotland that I've wanted to do now for the last 3 years, and just the stars just haven't aligned for me to get the time when the weather's good enough to go up and do it. So maybe next year will be the year that I'll finally get that done. But yeah, that's my little, I don't know, 10 pence worth around motivation and things you can do to get out the door. Please do let me know what keeps you motivated to get out cycling. I'd be really interested in any kind of little tips and suggestions that you have. And as I mentioned at the start of the video, thank you so much for following along. If you're not subscribed to the channel and you happen to stumble upon this video, please do consider subscribing. It'd be great, I really appreciate it. Otherwise, do stay safe, take care, and happy cycling in the bad weather, in the good weather, seasonal, doesn't matter. Just get out when you can and enjoy being on two wheels. Bye.